An animator who is impressed with both his feature film work and his own independent short films is Andrew Chesworth. Seeing his output over the years, he's certainly an artist with a lot of creativity and understanding of how to help develop appealing characters. One of his earliest animation projects was a short film he directed while at the Minneapolis College of Art and Design. Titled Mortimer and Brackett, it tells the story of a war between two species. There's a clear anti-war message told effectively through the characters. Following soldiers who roped into this war they don't really believe in, the short tackles topics like propaganda, nationalism, and the absurdity of war. The designs have a lot of creativity to them, making each side of this conflict easily indistinguishable. The title characters also have a sympathy and likability to them, while the different comical gags have the required effect. Another one of his student projects was a stop-motion short set in prehistoric times titled Cave Girl, about a young woman and her grandmother dealing with a dinosaur. It managed to pack a lot of story, humor, and charm into 3 minutes, and the stop-motion was stunningly animated. He would then direct the animated short Fruitless Efforts, Fruit of the Womb, alongside Aaron Quist, which depicts an apple trying to get away from some fruits in their tree. It's such an out-there short with some wonderfully bizarre imagery, and I certainly did not expect the places it went to. He would contribute to a number of projects with his animation skills, from documentaries to commercial work, that really showcased his skills at both hand-drawn and computer animation. Chesworth seemed to be particularly influenced by classic animation with his character designs and the way they moved. In 2011, he was hired as an animator at Walt Disney Animation Studios, where he worked on several features and shorts. His first credit was on Wreck-It Ralph, where he animated multiple characters, although he mainly contributed to Ralph and Vanellope. He also provided some of the computer animation on the short film Get a Horse, doing a wonderful job of capturing Mickey Mouse's concern as Pete kidnaps Minnie. On Frozen, Chesworth mostly animated on Anna, including one of my favorite bits of animation during the For the First Time in Forever musical number, when she sings about not knowing if she's elated or gassy. On the short film Feast, he animated the dog during one of the key emotional points, while on Big Hero 6 he worked on scenes with Hero and Baymax, doing a great job of both the comedy bits and the dramatic moments. His work on Zootopia included animating on scenes with Nick Wilde, Judy Hopps, and Mr. Big, providing them with plenty of expression. Andrew Chesworth would animate various characters in Moana, handling some solid comedic and dramatic moments for the likes of Moana, Maui, and Tamatoa the Crab. And on the short Inner Workings, he did some great work animating the main characters' inner organs, as well as some background characters. His final credit at Disney Animation was on the short film Olaf's Frozen Adventure, primarily animating on Olaf and bringing a lot of humor to his movements, especially during his big musical number. Following this, Chesworth would co-direct the short film One Small Step, alongside another Disney animator, Bobby Pontillas. The result was a lovely short about a young woman named Luna who aspires to be an astronaut. Showing her life from childhood and the support of her cobbler father, Chesworth and Pontillas did an excellent job of showing what fuels her imagination and her determination to go to the moon. There are a number of key scenes that show her drive and creativity, but also that feeling of rejection that plagued anyone trying so hard to make their dreams a reality. Meanwhile, her relationship with her father is wonderfully explored as we see how he constantly fixes her footwear. Through those 8 minutes, you truly get to know Luna and her father and see the connection they have as well as their struggles. Where the story leads definitely hits the emotional spot, and it makes it all the more touching when we get to the final scene. The short has a very pleasing look to it, with incredibly fluid animation and appealing designs that showcase the emotions of the characters exceptionally well. The more fantastical scenes deliver, as do the major dramatic moments, precisely because of how good the animation is. There are some quiet moments that especially showcase everything Luna is going through. I was extremely impressed when I first watched One Small Step back in 2018, and revisiting it again, it's still a remarkable film and a great ode to those with big dreams. One Small Step received an Oscar nomination for Best Animated Short, and it was absolutely deserving of this recognition. After this achievement, Andrew Chesworth would serve as an animator on Sergio Pappas' delightful Christmas movie Klaus. Doing animation largely on the crotchety main villain, Mrs. Crumb, he certainly brought the needed unlikability to the character scenes he worked on, and he animated a few heartwarming scenes with the lead protagonist, Jesper, as well. I found Klaus to be such a beautifully animated film that managed to take hand-drawn animation to new heights, and so much credit deserves to go to the animators who contributed to the film like Chesworth. A project Andrew Chesworth had been working on for many years was a hand-drawn animated short about a train titled The Brave Locomotive. He started working on it all the way back in 2008, and even recorded the music the following year. He would tinker on the short for a while, but it was then put on hold for several years when he went to work at Disney and his other projects. In 2020, with the pandemic and everyone having to work at home, Chesworth decided to resurrect the Brave Locomotive and finally complete the short, using the help of Patreon donors. Completed in 2023, the short is a delightful tribute to 1940s animation with a similar sensibility and musical sound, although Chesworth also put his own unique spin on the film. There's a lot of charm to the early scenes as we're introduced to a steam engine named Linus and his owner Henry. There's a bounce and energy to the animation and already a likability with these two characters. Eventually things take a darker turn as a Baron takes over the railroad and decides to replace Linus with a bigger train. The animation brings a lot of personality to these characters, and the story itself is a well-told one, properly building the stakes as things get more intense and we see the problems with this new train. Throughout all, the music fits situations and does have the feel of something you might hear in a Disney store in the 40s or one of their package features like Make Mine Music. To me, the message of the Brave Locomotive appeared to be about while progress is certainly important, there can still be a place for earlier methods and there should not be such a quick haste to replace them with something shiny and new. The short also does not portray the new train Samson as a villain. He's doing what he feels is the right thing as he speeds along trying to get people to their destinations. Linus also sped along the tracks, but the tracks were given time to be built to his specifications, unlike Samson's tracks. Linus even helped Samson later on. There's a nuance and dimension to these characters I appreciated. The Brave Locomotive also feels like a tribute to trains and what still makes them endearing modes of transportation to many. There's a respect and admiration for them and the various types of trains that have come along to help people get to where they need to be. Quite a number of notable artists worked on the Brave Locomotive, including Disney animator Hoi-Min Lee, Blue Sky animator B.J. Crawford, and the late legendary animator Dale Bear. The short has amassed over 12 million views on YouTube since it was uploaded in November, and it's easy to see why so many have sought it out or keep returning to it. Currently, Andrew Chesworth is working at Netflix Animation, where he's contributed to a number of productions. He's been credited as animation director and character design supervisor on the series My Dad Bounty Hunter, an animator on the feature The Monkey King, and a visual development artist on the recently released movie Ultraman Rising. Throughout his career so far, Andrew Chesworth has done some impressive work both as an animator on massive Disney hits and developing and directing his own independent animated shorts. And it's particularly wonderful to see him bring his passion project, The Brave Locomotive, to fruition for all to enjoy. I certainly look forward to watching what he does in the future, whether it's with hand-drawn or computer animation. See you next time.